Hi, and welcome back to another episode of The Search. I'm Elliot Manning, the Managing Director of Kayman Recruitment based out in the UK and US. This week, I'm joined by Rob Grant, who heads up Harrington Starr in New York, who basically look after all of the US, right? Is that, do you want to introduce
Yeah,
yourself, Rob?
absolutely. Yeah, so we're based in New York, but we have the remit to cover pretty much all of North America and
Yeah,
South America if we so choose.
fine. So how long have you been with the business now, Rob?
So I joined. I always get this wrong. I joined January 2016.
Wow, okay.
So Toby, who runs the business and owns the business, I've known Toby for about 20 years. We both started our recruitment career at S3.
Yep.
I joined the business predominantly to launch America. I happened to be coming over here, independent of Harrington Starr, and Toby and I have known each other for a while. And we said, look, it probably makes sense for me to launch, the Harrington Starr brand in New York. So yeah, been with the business nearly 5 years, 4.5 years, and been physically in New York for four of those.
Amazing. And how's that been for you, in a sort of smallish kind of
Yeah,
sentence,
I
if you
mean,
like?
it was going very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was going really, really well. I think we're all very happy with the trajectory of the business.
Yeah.
Obviously, the last few months have been a little bit challenging,
Yep.
but by and large, we were on the right path.
Yep.
We'd seen double-digit growth year on year, which is always good.
Amazing.
It was all quite organic. It wasn't just a lump sum of investment and go on a spending spree. It was start small, incrementally get better people, bigger,
Yep.
bigger offices, things like that. So it was going really well. Obviously, like everyone in the
Yep.
last 5 or 6 months, that's had a bit of a dent.
Yep.
But these things happen, and by and large, we're confident that the business is going to get back on track
Oh,
relatively
of
soon.
course. I mean, look, I met you, I think it was about 2 years ago now in New York.
Yeah,
And since then, the business has just gone from strength to strength and probably still
yeah,
will. I'm sure after this little blip that we're all going through, at the
yeah.
minute, which let's just say it's a lovely little hurdle for us to get over. But look, we've been in recruitment long enough. I mean, how long you've been in it for quite a while now in terms of,
So yeah, I've been in it. Well, I started in 2001, so
wow.
nearly 20 years. I had a bit of an excursion into the world of exhibitions and events, but then
Cool.
I came back into recruitment. So probably been recruiting for 17 years now.
Amazing.
I remember very, very confidently thinking after we got out of the Great Recession, we'll be fine. There'll never be something like that again.
Yeah. And here
But
it
yeah,
is.
lo and behold, so I
Yeah.
think we'll be a little bit forewarned and forearmed next time.
Yeah, I feel like everyone that's kind of been there and done it is a little bit more, I wouldn't say patient, but they're kind of, we'll get out of it, we'll be fine kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do. I think the tendency is to panic. Quite frankly, I speak to a lot of people in the industry, and you're right. The people that, to a degree, been there and seen it, and look, this is new to all of us to a degree. But there's no magic bullet. You can't
No.
just wish it away. You've just got to keep doing what you can do, and the only thing you control is what you do. So you just got to
Yeah.
keep working hard, keep patient. Put in the hours, put in the hard work, and you will come out the other end of it without
Yeah.
a doubt.
So were you the first person on the ground for the business there as the head of the
So yeah,
US?
myself and another girl launched it. I mean, by the factor of 2 weeks, I was the first person on the ground, but we launched it together. So we launched with two. Then we recruited someone pretty much immediately, and then kind of just added to the team. When the triggering hires were there, when we realised there was enough business, then
Yeah.
we kind of proved the concept, I guess, and then kind of we already had like a roadmap of where we wanted people to be,
Yeah.
and then just making sure that we got to those hiring triggers before we press go.
I've got lots of people that I've spoken to, I'm sure you have, like, over the years, that want to be in the position that you're in and be the first person on the ground. And I
Yeah.
interviewed someone recently who's from another company who's launching a US office. What advice would you give someone in your position that's going to be that first person and the head of it all?
I think, I was a relatively senior person. I'd kind of run teams. I'd run a business or co-run a business. I think what you've got to do is not be too proud. You've got to get back hands-on. You've got to be the person making the phone calls. You've got to be the person leading by example. It wasn't just, me with a little kingdom of people. It was me making the calls. It was me making the placements. It was me booking the interviews.
Yeah.
And I think that helped me tremendously because I understood that the challenges that my guys now face.
Yeah.
I understood that, it's very easy from a distance to go, oh, it's easy, just do this. But I knew what it took because I did it.
Yeah.
And And I think in order to have kind of any credibility that when you do run the teams, you have to have gone through that. So
Yep.
the only advice is just do it. It's hard work, but as we all know, it's not rocket science. You just got to get back on the phones, get back
Yeah.
into meetings, and do the hard work that you need in order to be successful.
Did you find the US market a complete difference to the UK market, and that a challenge itself?
No, not really. I mean, I've been asked this a couple of times. I think for me, a good recruiter is a good recruiter. There are idiosyncrasies that any market has. You know, someone they're recruiting in Britain is going to find quirks and peccadillos in America that they're not used to, similar in Europe. But ultimately, what we do is we try and find the need of a client. You know, and I think the one thing is that sometimes, you know, the American market will say things and doesn't necessarily follow through, but that's just part of good questioning, you know, and drilling to the root of the problem. So I think if you're a good recruiter, it doesn't matter where you do it, whether it's Australia, America, Europe, the UK, you should be successful. If your processes are right and your attitude's right, you'll be successful.
Definitely. In terms of like everything that's been going on and the build up to this, you know, to present, like, have you found that you've had to kind of change strategy? Have you had to like implement different ways of working? Has it been more aggressive? Has it been the same, you know, motives, I suppose?
The danger is that, you know, you do go into panic station. You just try and cold call everyone. And, you know, the last thing people want is, you know, people just selling to them, even at the best time. You know, people don't want to be sold to. I think what we've done pretty well is we're quite good on the market. Well, we're very good on the marketing. You know, so there's a nice kind of value add that we can talk to our clients about, that it isn't just, you know, give me your jobs. It's, you know, what are you experiencing in the marketplace? How are you feeling about things? How do you remotely onboard people? So I think we've always had that good community outreach. And I think if anything, we've doubled down on that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, we've been in contact with a lot of clients doing podcasts, doing video channels. You know, we have a magazine that we send out 3 or 4 times a year, and getting people feedback on that as well. So I think that's really helped us. What you don't want to do is just phone up and kind of pitch your services, you know, blindly in a panic, because no one wants to hear that.
Of course,
you know, it's about you know, being that trusted advisor for your client and understanding what they want, as opposed to just trying to, you know, give them product that they're not interested in.
And it might be a difficult question. Like, do you find it, you know, how do you find it to motivate yourself as a, you know, the head of the US, and motivate your staff at the same time? Is it something that you've dealt with quite, I mean, you've had experience in this, I suppose, you know, so.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's a bit of a roller coaster. You'll get people that are, you know, absolutely understand it and they'll be absolutely on it, but they're going to have everyone has a bad day. You know, where I'm currently looking at the nice view of my wall, and have been for the last 5 months. It takes its toll. But I think what we're trying to do is like, look, don't sweat the small stuff so much. This is a blip. It's a horrible blip. It's a nasty blip. You know, obviously the death toll is catastrophic, and we all admit that. But from a business point of view, nothing's really changed. You know, our ambition is to be the #1 recruitment group in the world with the best customer service, the greatest place to work. That hasn't changed. You know, these 5 months haven't changed that. If anything, it's probably made us more, you know, competitive to get there, more passionate about getting there, because I think what we have had is probably, you know, a little bit more time to put your head above the parapet and then kind of go, right, where are we good? Where are we not good? What do we need to improve? You know, how can we get better? Which I think in a busy market, you just get so ingrained in doing business as usual. You don't really have time to stop and think. So
no,
I think it's given us a bit of, it's given us a chance to reflect a little bit. But hopefully the message that we're saying to the guys and, you know, and the people doing their hands-on stuff is just get through it. There's not a magic bullet. You know, even though we're experienced, I can't turn around and say, if you do this, everything will be fine, because it doesn't work like that. You just have to keep going. You have to work twice as hard for half the results.
Definitely.
But the good thing is, if you do that, when you come out the other end of it, you'll be better than everyone. So
100%.
just, you know, have the end goal in mind.
Yeah, I like what you said about nothing has changed. I mean, like, nothing has. You've still got the same motives as a business to be where you want to be. I feel like everyone thinks, you know, in any company, they may think like, oh, everything's changed. Like, it's not going to be like, but nothing's changed. It's just let's just say someone just pulled you back a little bit, and you've just, until they say you can go again, then That's it.
It's one of those things that you see, you know, all those kind of memes or gifs on
Yeah.
LinkedIn where it's like, you know, people think the path to success is that it's that, it's back, it's up. I think, you know, I wouldn't put words into people's mouths, but, you know, certainly when I talk to Toby, James and Nadia and the other people in the business, I don't think any of us have probably been more excited.
Yeah.
At any point. We're doing things that we probably should have done in the past. We're looking at things root and branch, going, how do we tweak that? How do we improve that? Whether it's from a personnel standpoint, from a technology standpoint, you know, making it a better place to work standpoint. All these things we're kind of investing in at the moment, going, well, this is quite exciting stuff.
Amazing. Fine. So taking it to today's date, kind of like for those listening, what's the plan for, you know, Harrington and New York? What's the plan for the business? And, you know, what do you guys, you know, what's your focus? You know, what would you want to see from people coming into the business?
I think, you know, and this is probably, a lot of people will say this, I think, you know, prior to this, it was a very candidate driven market. You know, if I didn't like candidate, they would go get a job. You know, recruitment is the easiest job in the world to do when things are going well. You know, things aren't going well by and large for recruiters at the moment. And I think what we realized is that we need to kind of reassess what good looks like. I think historically as a business, what we've been very good at is if people work hard, we'll support them. You know, by and large, we're in a results-based profession, but sometimes those results come later. And if you're doing everything that's asked of you and you're putting in the effort and the hard work, we will support you without a doubt. And we've shown that time and time again. So I think anyone coming into the business has to realize that, you know, we're still effectively kind of in startup mode. It's not a job where you come in and you get gifted a load of jobs to work on and go make your commission. We have to fight and graft for everything.
Yeah.
You know, it gets easier every day because we become more and more established. But I think what we want to see from people is people that buy into what we're trying to do, buy into the long-term vision of the company and the wider group, and are prepared to work to do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be gifted to you. We all have to roll our sleeves up and make sure that we're doing everything that we can, the things that we can control, to help, you know, move that business forward. So that's what we look for in people. And it's not, you know, I think the tendency is to get frustrated when things don't happen as quickly as you want. But success is measured in inches as opposed to miles. You know, if you're just moving your desk forward that little bit day by day, week by week, then that's progress.
Definitely. And have you guys got plans, you know, to operate elsewhere? I mean, I know that, you know, there's the whole sort of San Fran or, you know, sort of aspect as well to it.
Yeah, we kind of got two brands. We've got Harrington Starr brand, which is purely financial technology.
That's it.
And then we've got the North Star brand, which is, you know, kind of more holistic technology. We've got big plans for both of those, actually, particularly in the US. You know, the scale of opportunity in America is just phenomenal. It's scary. When you think about how much, you know, even in the financial technology sector, we're by and large focused on the, you know, the Northeast, whether that's Boston or New York, but there's a whole world out there in Chicago, Austin, Texas, you know, San Fran, LA, same for the North Star piece. So we've barely begun. You know, I think our ambition for the US has probably never been greater. You know, we do genuinely see this as the kind of the growth engine for the group. And whilst this has knocked us off our step a little bit, it's still very much that this will be the area of the business that hopefully drives future expansion.
Definitely. Just want to rewind a little bit. I mean, I know we're kind of touching base on that. What would you, when you first started out in recruitment, you know, did you ever, what would you say the difference is now as to where you are compared to sort of starting off as a recruiter in the first 4 or 5 years? You know, did you know where you wanted to go to and where you wanted to be?
Not really. I'm not truly sure I understood what recruitment was when I first interviewed. I thought it was, you know, wining and dining clients and, you know, taking them on golf days. And my boss basically said, look, you know, you'll be doing a lot of phone work. So disavow yourself of that notion for a start. I didn't really have a career in mind. I knew as soon as I started doing it, I knew that I really enjoyed it. I like talking to people. I like talking to clients. I like making those connections. So it's always something that I've really, really enjoyed and has kind of made sense to me. I also knew that it's, you know, the scalability of it is really something that appeals to me. You can, you know, create businesses around this. You can scale up pretty quickly. If you'd have told me I'd still be doing it 20 years, I probably wouldn't have even thought that far ahead,
Yeah.
to be honest. In terms of what's changed, I think it's really interesting because I think it's probably got a better name now than it did have. I think we certainly at Harrington Starr, we're not just there to kind of go collect jobs or do a race to the bottom. We genuinely see ourselves as being people that can advise businesses. Advise how they grow their business, advise strategically where they need to put people, and I think that's what we want to continue evolving into. So I think it's become more of a consultative, or we certainly try to make it more of a consultative piece as opposed to, dialing 400 numbers, asking people for jobs. And that's the kind of business that we want to be. And I'm sure there are plenty of businesses that do the former. But part of the reason that we do go, quite big on all the marketing aspects and the events, the awards and the magazines is so that we can talk with credibility.
Yeah, of course.
We don't just want to be people that phone 9,000 people and appeal to the lowest common denominator. We want to be able to talk intelligently and articulately about what's going on in the marketplace and really advise the clients that actually, a Java developer in your space gets paid this, your nearest and dearest competitor has an interview process like that. And you can't do that unless you know what you're talking about. So I think we've got better and I think we've got more sophisticated.
Cool. Okay, fine. Any more kind of like advice to anyone listening in on kind of where you are and, the role that you're playing? Anything you could tell any recruiter that's kind of, wanting to learn? Yeah,
I think when I first started, I questioned everything, not in a bad way, because I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn, why do you do that? Why do you say that? Why do you do it that way? And I think if someone comes in with that kind of inquisitive, but, passionate mindset, I think you'll do very, very well. As I said earlier, recruitment's really, really easy to do when things are going well.
Yeah.
But it's during the hard times that you really kind of show your mettle, shows what you're made of. I think Eleanor Roosevelt said that if you want to know how strong a woman is, she's like a tea bag, put her in hot water, and that's what we're going through at the moment. This will make you a better recruiter.
Yeah.
If you can survive and thrive in this time, then when the market turns, and it will, you'll be much better placed. If you look at, if you look at all the kind of recessions and blips we've had, a lot of businesses come out the other end of it and have record years. We did it with my last company, Dragonfly. Obviously went through the Great Recession, and then we trebled our best ever year a couple of years later because we got fundamentally better.
Yeah.
So I think it's very easy to kind of dip in and out of recruitment. Go, I'll try it. Don't. It's a great career. It can pay you very well. You can do very well out of it. Joining a business like ours that's established but still growing, I think you can really make a mark for yourself. I think you can genuinely accelerate your career because when we're talking in our strategy meetings, like, wow, we've got opportunity there. The one thing that's missing is the people to go drive that for us. We've got a great team that can, do a number of those spots, but we've always got more people that we want to talk to because our ambitions are so great. So seize that ambition, work hard, and you can go get it.
Okay, perfect. So now that everyone's kind of learned who you are as a person, they've learned where you are at as a business and a bit more about yourself, are you hiring for people to work for you?
I think we're getting back to that. I think it's, like everyone, it was kind of capitalize on what you've got, make sure that you maximize everything that you've got.
Definitely.
And I think, naturally everyone looked internally a little bit. I think, given the kind of internal metrics that we're seeing in terms of jobs coming back for our guys, and the dialogues that we're having in the marketplace, our confidence is coming back. So I think we're at the stage where we want to start talking to good people.
Yeah.
We want people that are passionate about what we're trying to do. And we've got a variety of different areas that we can put people in, but it's got to be the right people in the right places.
Yeah. I think right now is a good time for like anyone that's kind of listening to this and looking and open to conversations, whether it's from now or in the new year, whatever it may well be, to definitely reach out to you and have a chat and kind of just, these introductions, like we're kind of doing now, building a network, creating a new, just say motive for the new year. It's the same with looking for a job, right? Definitely worth reaching out to Rob and the guys at Harrington in New York and seeing what's going on and what the plans are now that you kind of know who I suppose who you are and what the business is all about. I mean, look, your guys' marketing is phenomenal, and you know, I've seen what you guys do a hell of a lot. And if anyone asks me about you guys, I tell them to just look online. It's just everything's there in
Yeah,
black and white for them to see kind of the success and, you know, the magazine itself and the podcast. It's just, you know, the brand is strong, right? So
yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
only a matter of time now in the States that you guys kick off, you know, and that's what I've seen anyway. So anyone listening again,
absolutely. And I think it
yeah,
can change so quickly.
yeah,
You know, it's that the business is coming back, and it's coming back with some good momentum. So yeah, I think we're getting to the position where we want to start having those dialogues with people.
cool.
You know, and we want to get better. The marketing is fantastic, but you know, we want to make sure that gets better. We want to make sure that makes the job easier for the guys and girls doing
Yeah.
the day-to-day business. Yeah, so that's the plan.
Perfect. Well, look, I'm going to put a link to your LinkedIn page on the when I post this out anyway on LinkedIn, and the company page, so they can do some research and contact you directly if and you know need be and as and when. Obviously, feel free to ask me any questions if anyone's got anything that they want to know. Anything final to add, Rob, or you know anything to cover? I mean, I think I've got a lot of info here. I've taken some good notes as well
Yeah.
that I'm sure you'll see on the write up when I put it out there. So.
No, I mean, look, firstly, thanks for having me. Always good to catch up. But you know, we'll get through it. The business has never been kind of more ambitious as to what we want to do and what we want to achieve. So I think now's a good time to start those dialogues.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to listen to what you've had to say about, you know, the positivity, you know, is all still there. Nothing has changed, you know, and it gives people a good idea and kind of, you know, I suppose paints a picture on you as a person and as a business, you know, and if they want to be part of that culture, they can see for
Yeah,
themselves.
great.
So look, appreciate your time, Rob, as always, and I'm sure we'll
Pleasure.
catch up very
Always good to
soon.
catch up.
Take care. Speak to
Thanks,
you
Elliot.
soon. See you
Speak to you soon.
later. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.